Welcome to Branding Made Simple, your guide to effective branding in the UAE and beyond. Whether you're building from scratch or maybe scaling fast, this is really where strategy meets simplicity. From things like storytelling and design to content and visibility, we're about to break it all down, step by step, to make branding work for you, cutting straight to what matters.
And that brings us straight into something really fundamental, how your brand is actually, seen by the world. There's this great quote, I think it captures it perfectly. Your brand isn't what you say it is, it's what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Yeah. That really hits home, doesn't it?
It really does. Gets right to the core.
Okay, let's really unpack that because it kind of flips the whole idea of branding on its head, right?
Exactly.
It's not just about the clever slogans we come up with or, the exact Pantone color we choose. Ultimately, it's the perception, the feeling in our audience's mind that truly defines our brand. It's their collective take.
Precisely. So let's maybe dive into the core of what brand perception actually is.
Okay.
Think of it as the overall feeling, maybe the gut reaction people have when they encounter your brand. It's that impression that sort of takes root in their minds. And what's really interesting is that this isn't shaped by just one single thing.
No, definitely not. It's more like a mosaic. Right. They build this picture piece by piece.
Exactly. A mosaic, that's a good way to put it. It's the cumulative effect of every single interaction they have.
Every single one.
Well, yeah. Think about it. It spans everything from, say, scrolling through your social media feed, their experience if they have to reach out to customer service, right down to the look and feel of your packaging, even your pricing strategy. And crucially, like that quote highlights, it's heavily influenced by what they hear from other people, word of mouth.
And this is where it gets really dynamic, especially now. I mean, in today's world, hyper-connected, brand perception isn't static, is it?
Yeah.
It's not like you build it, set it, and forget it.
Oh, not at all. It's constantly evolving, constantly being shaped in real time. Just consider the speed. Opinions and news travel online these days.
It's instant.
Pretty much. And that makes actively understanding and then strategically influencing that perception absolutely vital.
Now, if you're operating here in the UAE, it really strikes me that this is even more pronounced. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. The UAE has such a strong sense of community. Word of mouth carries significant weight here across so many sectors.
Like hospitality, retail.
Hospitality, retail, the tech scene, which is booming, you name it. Trust is really the bedrock of commerce. And in the UAE, that trust is deeply, deeply intertwined with reputation.
So it's almost like brand perception has a sort of multiplier effect here.
That's a really sharp way to put it, yeah. You've got this diverse mix of people, right? Locals, expats, and they often rely heavily on their trusted circles.
Recommendations from friends, that sort of thing.
Recommendations from friends, advice they see in community groups online, insights from peer reviews. That's huge for decision making.
So it's not just about how polished your website looks.
Not just that, no. It's significantly about what's being discussed within those local networks, those WhatsApp groups people are in. That's where a lot of real influence happens.
Okay, yeah, that paints a really clear picture.
Yeah.
So maybe to make this even more concrete, let's look at some tangible examples, maybe a big brand and some smaller ones.
Sure. A prime example on a global scale, easily recognizable, is Emirates Airlines.
Right.
They've clearly invested strategically in their brand, no doubt. But when you think about their worldwide brand perception, it's fundamentally driven by things like a consistent experience, a feeling of, let's say, understated luxury.
Reliability too, right?
Reliability, definitely, and their sort of ongoing commitment to innovation. And crucially, that perception isn't just from their ads. It's powerfully reinforced by countless travelers sharing their positive experiences. That Fly Emirates recommendation you hear.
Yeah, that organic endorsement is incredibly valuable. Okay, so what about businesses on a smaller scale? The ones maybe just starting out or serving a local neighborhood?
Well, for smaller businesses, the principles are actually very similar. They just operate within a more localized sphere, maybe.
Okay.
Think about, say, a really well-loved neighborhood cafe down in Dubai Marina, or maybe a niche fitness studio in Jumeirah that has a really dedicated following.
Yeah, I can picture this.
They might not have massive marketing budgets, right? But if their customers are consistently sharing little positive snippets, photos of their coffee, tagging the business on Instagram, leaving enthusiastic reviews on Google.
That's building something real time.
Exactly. That's real-time brand equity being built. That user-generated content becomes a really potent potent asset.
Because it feels more authentic.
Absolutely. It carries an authenticity that, traditional advertising often struggles to match. It's trusted, it's relatable, and like you said, it directly contributes to building that crucial brand equity.
Right. So it really underscores that managing brand perception isn't just a big company game.
Not at all. It's critical for every single brand, no matter the size or reach.
Right, okay. So we get what brand perception is, why it's so important, especially here in the UAE context. But the big question for anyone listening is, how can we actually manage it? Because, like we said, we can't literally control what people say.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. You can't control public opinion outright, no. But you definitely have the power to influence it through your actions, your communication, how you engage.
Okay, so how? What are the strategies?
Well, there are several key strategies. The first vital step, maybe the most basic, is to actively listen to what's being said about your brand. You need to know what conversations are happening.
Where do you even start with that?
A really straightforward starting point is just setting up Google Alerts for your brand name. It's free, it's easy, it'll notify you whenever your brand pops up in online content.
Okay, that's super accessible. What else? Any other tools or techniques?
Yeah, for a more in-depth understanding, there are various social listening tools out there. Platforms designed specifically to track online conversations across social media, blogs, news sites, the whole web, basically.
Like what kind of tools?
Think of tools like Hootsuite, Brand24, maybe Sprout Social. There are quite a few options. And crucially, don't overlook monitoring online reviews. Google Reviews is obviously huge.
That's it, yeah.
But also keep an eye on industry-specific review platforms, whatever is relevant and popular in your sector here in the region.
Got it. So it's a proactive approach, not just broadcasting, but tuning in. What's next after listening?
Well, once you're actively monitoring, the next strategy is to respond thoughtfully and ideally promptly.
Especially the negative stuff.
Yeah, that's particularly critical. When you encounter negative feedback, the first instincts might be, ignore it, hope it goes away.
Sweep it under the rug.
Exactly. But that's often a huge missed opportunity to actually shape perception positively.
So you're saying a bad review isn't necessarily a disaster?
Not at all. In fact, handled well, a negative review can be a really valuable chance to demonstrate how your brand deals with challenges, how much you value your customers.
How so?
A well-crafted, timely response can actually turn a negative experience into a positive one, not just for that one unhappy customer, but for everyone else reading that interaction. It shows you're listening.
Right. A brand that listens and responds constructively, that builds serious trust.
Huge trust. Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got monitoring, we've got responding. What's the third key strategy for proactively shaping perception?
The third crucial piece is strategically partnering with professionals who really specialize in brand development and communication.
You mean like agencies?
Yeah, exactly. Here in the UAE, you have some highly skilled agencies, like, for instance, Kaifko Media Group, that really focus on crafting authentic and compelling brand stories, brand narratives. They invest the time to truly understand the founder's vision, the core values driving the company, the long-term goals. And that deep understanding lets them build comprehensive brand strategies that connect with the audience and actually help grow the business.
What kind of advantages do agencies like Kaifko bring, especially thinking about the UAE market?
Well, in Kaifko's specific case, their founder, Mo Hediat, he brings this really interesting mix of experience from North America and Europe. But now he's focused specifically on the MENA region.
So he gets the nuances.
Exactly. He understands the subtle differences between markets and also the fundamental importance of identifying and nurturing those key brand elements right from the very beginning, that early strategic focus. It's essential for getting a good return on your branding and marketing spend. And while, look, the UAE has many talented agencies, Kaifko offers a particularly integrated approach. They blend the strategy part with high-quality content production and then effective distribution across, online and offline channels.
So it's kind of a holistic view, making sure everything works together.
Precisely. And the big idea here is proactivity. Good reputation management isn't just about damage control when things go wrong. It's about actively building and cultivating a positive perception before any issues might even come up.
Okay, great. We've covered these key strategies. Now, for people listening, what are some really concrete, actionable steps they could implement, like today or tomorrow, to start positively influencing their brand perception?
Okay, yeah, let's get practical. Here are 3 things you can start doing pretty much right away. First, make it consistent practice. Ask your happy customers for reviews. Just ask. Don't be shy. Often, happy customers are totally willing to share their positive experiences. They might just need a little nudge. Make it super easy for them. Send a direct link to your Google My Business profile or whatever platform matters most.
Simple, but probably quite effective. Often overlooked, maybe.
Definitely overlooked sometimes. Okay, second actionable piece of advice. Make sure you showcase the positive testimonials you get.
Don't hide them away.
Exactly. Don't let those glowing reviews just sit there unseen. Feature them prominently on your website homepage, share them regularly on Instagram stories, weave them into your LinkedIn feed. Those authentic voices of satisfied customers, they build genuine trust and credibility like almost nothing else.
Yeah, that social proof factor is incredibly powerful. Build confidence. Okay, and the third actionable step.
Finally, actively work on building relationships. With media outlets, yes, but also with key influencers who genuinely align with your brand's core values and your overall mission.
Finding the right fit is key there, I imagine.
Absolutely key. It's not just about reach, it's about alignment. A single positive mention or maybe a well-executed collaboration with the right voice can significantly impact how a big chunk of your target audience sees your brand. So invest the time to research and identify those individuals whose audience and values really resonate with your own.
Fantastic. Those are some really tangible steps our listeners can start implementing straight away. So just to quickly recap what we've covered, brand perception. Fundamentally, it's about that collective feeling, the opinions others hold about your brand. It's shaped by every single touch point, the ongoing conversations and community feedback, which, as we discussed, is particularly influential here in the UAE.
Right.
And while you can't control every single thought people have, you absolutely can influence that perception through, diligent monitoring, active and thoughtful engagement, and strategic collaborations.
And I think the crucial takeaway for you, our listener, is really to start viewing and treating your brand's reputation not as an afterthought, but as a vital, living, constantly evolving part of your overall business strategy.
Absolutely, because in today's world, it truly is.
It really is.
Okay, looking ahead at our next deep dive, we're going to explore a really relevant topic for businesses of all sizes. How smart, targeted strategies can often deliver far greater results than just throwing a massive budget at your branding and marketing.
The age-old strategy versus spend debate. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll be looking at how you can effectively grow your brand without necessarily needing the spending power of a huge corporation.
Sounds great.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Branding Made Simple, your guide to effective branding in the UAE and beyond. If you found today's exploration valuable, please do make sure to subscribe and maybe share it with anyone you know who is building or strengthening their brand right now.
Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us for this.
This deep dive was brought to you by Kaifko Media Group, empowering brands in the UAE and beyond.